It says live soon. It's scrolling. But it's not actually on now, is it?
It's been a while since I was the only one in your class.
Everyone's scared of the liveness. Nah. If you come up here, you'll be a little bit in the shot.
No, you'd have to be as high as me.
Yeah, you can just be like right there. You won't be in.
The videos are really cool though. They're actually great. I've been out here in my lounge a lot. Just not in the last month before I moved.
Your voice might be in it. So welcome to Raw Vinyasa this morning, live, either on YouTube or to our two delightful students in the studio who are here, and you can't see them. So we're going to start off. You can see John, he's over here. He's going to give you a wave and demo some stuff. You might see him doing other things like handstands. You don't have to do that, you know, there's options for us all. So we're going to start off on our backs. And if you have blocks or anything you'd like to use at home, feel free. But otherwise, just lying on your back in reclined butterfly or supta baddha konasana. If you've got blocks though, bring one up higher for your head and one for your shoulder blades-ish underneath. And then as you come down, reclining, so it's relatively comfortable under your shoulders and you feel this opening across the chest. Your head rests down and then arms come out nice and wide, palms facing up. And with the soles of the feet together, just checking the distance. If that's a little bit intense through your hips and knees, sliding the feet towards the front of the mat more. Or if you would like more, draw your heels in closer. And then closing down your eyes wherever you are. Or softening the gaze. And just starting to become aware of your breath. And without any force or trying to change your breath, just noticing and becoming familiar with the natural rhythm. This rise and fall. Maybe the sensations through your nostrils, if that's available this morning. And starting to send the intention to deepen the exhalation. Breathing in and slowing down that nice controlled exhalation out through the nose. As if you were visualizing the central channel of the body, so running up and down the spine, imagining the breath moving up and down that channel. We start off the practice bringing the awareness to the breath first, creating or cultivating more of an awareness to the rhythm of our breath. The movement then comes from this point. Lead from the midline, lead from the breath. I'm taking 5 more full rounds of breath here. So reach the end of your 5th exhalation. Start to invite little movements into the fingers and toes. See how long as we move into the practice that you can keep your awareness coming back to your breath. Drawing it back. Notice the length, maybe extending to the exhalation. And as you're ready, draw the hands to the knees, lifting up. Maybe you roll off if you're on your blocks to one side, or just use your elbows to prop up. Then wherever you are, coming back down onto your back, And starting off, just bending your knees, place your palms beside you. And take a moment to feel the connection of your lower back to the floor. And then maybe placing your hands just on the top where you can feel the kind of bony parts of your hips. And just tip them forward and back. So you feel that arch in the spine and then a pressing of your lower back to the floor. And as you kind of draw your belly button towards your spine, start to activate and turn on these deeper abdominals. Just again, from more of a gentle kind of awareness space, rocking forward and back. And then bring the hands down beside you, grounding through your feet, giving that same activation through the pelvis. Start to press down through hands and feet. Begin to lift your hips towards the ceiling. On your inhale, then as you exhale, gently curling back down, articulating through the vertebrae. On the bottom, inhale, rise, lifting up. And exhale, lowering all the way down. And then continue here, just moving on your breath, taking it at a pace that feels good, but seeing if you can really slow it down to start off with. So this articulation through the spine, and drawing in again to your center line. At the same time as you press down through your feet, feel a light activation on the outer glutes and the hamstrings here as there's a squeeze in towards the midline with your legs. Moving up and down. And just taking 3 more like this. Maybe you find a little more height at the top as it feels comfortable on your back, not pushing it too far. And then after your 3rd round, coming all the way down. And without your hands, just press your back into the floor and let your knees draw in towards your chest. Start to see how far you can draw your knees in, rolling up the ankles. Maybe even take circles through your knees. So controlling from more of your core, your abdominal muscles, to rotate out the knees, keep your back pressing down. Beautiful. And then lifting your feet, take hold of the inside or the outside edge and find your happy baby pose. And again, any movement here, you also might like to extend one leg, bend the other heel in towards you. Maybe stillness is what works. Opening out through those hips or starting to notice how the hips and the back are feeling. Beautiful. Release the feet, extend your legs up to your version of your 90 degrees. Okay, so if your hamstrings are really tight and this is working your core quite intensely, keep a nice bend in the knees. Otherwise, legs come up. And then lifting upper body. So head, shoulders, pressing the lower back down, squeeze your legs together. If this comes into your neck a little too much, you can interlace the hands to support the head, gaze looks up. And then finding the point, start to lower your legs down together. So you're squeezing in like an internal rotation, hugging and activating the legs. Keep your lower back pressing down on the floor. Maybe arms beside you, maybe hands behind the head. Finding this point, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Extend your legs back up, head down. Maybe you bend your knees just to release out. Like this, especially if it's extreme on the hamstrings. And then again, extending your legs. Lifting up, you can interlace the hands or keep the arms beside you. Take your legs down to a point that you can hold. And you might come all the way down so you're in your Ardha Navasana right here. But if that's too much, especially as it's early, keep the back pressing onto the floor. And again for 3, 2, 1. Down, legs come back up to your 90 degrees. Take a moment, start to feel that heat building through the center again of your body. And then 3rd one, lifting the upper body, extend, take your legs to where they'd like to go, maybe a little lower if you can keep that there. Hugging in towards the center line. If you can see John here, he actually uses a block under his head to support the neck, which can be a nice variation. 3, 2, 1. Coming up, release. Let your knees draw into your chest. A light draw and not pulling too hard. A little rock. And then we're going to make our way up into tabletop. So either rolling out to one side, you can bring the hands underneath the knees and start to rock and roll up and down the spine. Then use your knees and then either crossing the ankles, Pressing the knees back. We'll come into tabletop position. And then walk your tabletop towards the back of your mat. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Grounding down through your index and thumb knuckle. Draw belly in and then start to move through cat-cow. Belly drops, arch the spine, lengthen your collarbones. Feel a little bend of your elbows, like you're squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. And then exhale, curl and round. Now pulling your shoulder blades apart, press the floor away. Again, belly drops, inhale, arch. Exhale, curl and round. And just taking 3 more rounds like this on your own breath. Moving forward and back. Start to bring that space of fluidity into the spine. Beautiful. So you get to that final third round, come back to your neutral spine. And then feel like you're pulling your belly button just lightly in towards the spine. So you find neutral. And then start to walk the arms forward. We're going to come into Anahata, or melting heart pose here. Stay active. Begin to melt yourself down towards the floor. You're sitting the sit bones high, lengthening the sides of the body. Maybe your forehead comes down. Keep drawing in so you're not just letting the ribs kind of fall out. But keep that engaged gently. And maybe there's a little more space. So when they're reaching and opening across the shoulders and the chest, the next pose come into before we move into our down dog, especially when it's colder as it is in the moment, or it is here. Think about sending energy out through the fingers. So if your elbows are bent, straightening the arms a little more. And one more breath here. Beautiful. Walking it back up, tabletop position. Now the tabletop can come to the top of the mat. Spread your fingers, index finger facing forward, grounding down, index and thumb knuckle, and lift into your downward facing dog. And starting to find any movement here. So pedaling out through the feet. Sinking down, maybe you rock your hips from side to side. You may even like a little micro bend through the elbows, just to start to bring heat and kind of warming up to that joint space and activating your upper body. Really like this as it is colder, helps the body to kind of warm up and be here so you're not hanging into those joints. And just 3 more breaths either moving into it or finding stillness. And then rising up onto your toes. And the sit bones high, gaze forward, and now ripple forward into a high plank position. So holding here in your high plank, start to find a shifting forward and back. If you need to modify, bring your knees down, and you can still be here coming forward and back. Forward and back, so you're just moving over the wrists slightly, shoulders moving over the wrists. Otherwise, stay in your high plank. Activate through the legs. And find this rocking forward as you press down through your hands, belly drawing in your high plank. 2 and 1, and then sending it up and back, downward facing dog. Start to feel that nice heat again through the center of the body. Rising onto your toes, ripple forward, come back to your high plank. Pausing here, make sure those hips aren't kind of sagging towards the floor, lift up, draw belly in, activate the backs of the legs, and then rock forward and back in your high plank. The shoulders coming over wrists, and then back. We go for 3, 2, and 1, downward facing dog. Beautiful, rising onto the toes, look forward, start to walk your feet all the way up top of the mat. Feet can come hip distance apart. You're grounding down through the 3 points of each foot. Take hold of your elbows and let the head hang. And as you ground down through the feet, think about underneath the ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe, center of the heel, and then an activation lifting up through the arches of the feet. And then making sure that the knees aren't collapsing in. It's like a beautiful internal rotation, so you feel this activation draw into the center line and all the way up. In this case, all the way over and down to the head.
And as much bend as you need. And then keep the bend in the knees, release the arms behind you. Interlace your fingers on your lower back. Now option one, stay here, especially if the shoulders are a little tight, okay, with the bend. Or if it feels like there's more space already, you can start to extend your arms over and open out here. And then noticing if your weight's shifted forward or back on your feet, try and find that center point once again. And if you're feeling relatively open, maybe you work more towards straighter legs.
You're really mindful though, it's not pulling it all into your lower back. It feels comfortable and you're getting like a full body yes if you're straightening your legs. Big inhale.
And then exhale, let the hands release down. Drop them to the floor. Nice bend through the knees, ground through your feet and curl all the way up to stand. Like you can stack each vertebrae, but keep those legs active as you do so. Shoulders rolling back. Inhale, arms reach up. Your gaze lifts. And hands through heart center. Straight up scar A, toe heel the feet together. The little add-ons this morning. Inhale, reach. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to shins. You can have straight arms, straight legs if that feels good. Bend the knees, plant your hands. Stepping back, high plank position. So from your high plank, shift forward. Now either knees down if you need support or come through chaturanga. Elbows drawing in and then lower all the way to your belly. Release to the floor, bring your big toes together. Sweep your arms beside you, keep your neck long. Inhale, lift the upper body. So it's like your baby cobra, we're looking for locust pose. Hug the legs and maybe you float the feet as well. And then feel that sense of drawing the belly button in and up, like you're trying to pull it off the floor. And then exhale, releasing down. It's time to bring your forearms underneath, find Sphinx pose. So elbows under shoulders, lift and lengthen, extend. And then keep energizing out through your legs. So point through your toes that you're pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. Activating. And sweep elbows to the side, hands under shoulders, tuck the toes. Lift all the way up, maybe use your knees or straight to high plank. And then downward facing dog. And then from your downward facing dog this morning, because it is our shoulders week, walk your hands in slightly closer towards each other. So they come in closer, really narrow down dog. Now you might come to your knees to do this, or one elbow at a time, but if you're feeling it, both elbows at a time, and lower into dolphin pose. And maybe you walk your feet in slightly, or you can stay down dog. Yeah. Rising onto the toes. Gaze forward, and then a little shift forward, so your face comes over thumbs. Exhale, draw back before we start swimming dolphin. Taking two more, come forward, keep pressing down through your elbows. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Pressing down through your hands, lift up for your downward facing dog. Use the knees as you need. Walk them out a little wider. Beautiful. Now modified round of sun A. And then rising onto your toes, look forward, either step, walk, or maybe bend your knees and take a hop. Top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, ground through your feet, curling all the way up. Palms together, lift. And hands through heart center. Again, like this. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Hands to shin, halfway lift. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Shift forward, either knees down or lower, all the way through chaturanga, onto your belly. Once you touch the floor, extend your arms back, lift for your locust pose. Squeezing everything into the center, keep your neck long. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, hands under shoulders, tuck the toes, elbows in. Lift for high plank. Downward facing dog. Adjust your hands, come into your dolphin pose. You can always bring your knees down to get there. Otherwise, drop the elbows. Nice. And then again, swimming dolphin. If you want to add on to your swimming dolphin for this round, reach your right leg high and come forward. Come back, place the right foot down, reach the left leg high. Just an option, you don't have to do this, you might just be holding static. Taking it back, one more to each side, right leg reaches. Shift forward, shift back, place it down. Left foot rises, shift forward, shift back. Beautiful, place it down. Press through your hands, lift up, downward facing dog. Adjust the hands as you need, sinking in. Rising onto the toes, gazing forward, step, walk, maybe a little hop. Top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Palms together, lift the chest. And hands through heart center. Taking one more round like this. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, folding forward. Hands to shins, half lift. Bend the knees, plant your hands, step into high plank. Again, as you come down, make your way to your belly. Lift from the bottom, locust pose. Option, interlacing your hands on your back. Draw a little deeper into your locust, extend energy out through. Release. Hands under shoulders, tap your toes. Use the knees as needed, otherwise high plank. Downward facing dog. Adjust your hands, dolphin pose. Last one here. So your option where you'd like to take it may be the same as last time. You're swimming dolphin with one leg raised. Maybe you just hold static. Maybe you come forward and back. Maybe if you have a forearm stand, you take a little kick up. These options are yours. One more. And then pressing down through your hands, lifting up, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Rise into your toes. Gazing forward, step, walk, maybe a little hop. Top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Lift. Hands through heart center. And then for a moment, just bring your feet to your hip distance apart once again. Feel that grounding through your mat. So if you're pushing down, but then you're pulling energy up through your feet. Roll your shoulders back slightly. Okay, lengthen across the collarbones. Just send your hips back slightly and then open out your palms. Close down the eyes for a moment, just noticing the body. Feel how you can activate through your body just standing here, really connecting to your mat, to the earth. Take a nice full inhale through the nose. And exhale, side out the mouth. Eyes flutter open. And Utkatasana from here. Sweep the arms beside you, sink down, chair pose. Send the weight back into the heels. Feel a squeezing in. And with your legs apart, make sure your knees don't collapse. So you can bring the hands to the outer edges of your legs. Press knees into hands, hands into knees. Feel that activation all down the outer legs here. Squeezing in. And once you find that, then re-extend your arms. And if you find in chair that when you reach your arms, you kind of feel all crunched up around the shoulders, bring them wider, yeah, like you're holding onto a giant bubble. 3, 2, and exhale, fold. Hands to shins, half lift. Bend your knees, plant the hands, step back. This time taking it either straight to down dog or through your regular vinyasa, wherever you'd like to go. Forward, maybe chaturanga. Inhale for your upward facing dog. Or cobra, any variation you're working with. And downward facing dog. Full deep breath here. And then inhale, right leg rises. Bend your right knee, open into scorpion dog. Stack the hips, keep pressing the floor away. And then exhale, draw this bent right knee towards your right elbow. So rising onto the left toe, cinch forward. See if you can tap. Inhale, up and back, open into scorpion dog. Option to stay right here, or if you'd like to come into wild thing, start to open out. If you feel warm enough, roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Right fingertips come up, toes press into the floor, and then open and expand. Gaze down, exhale, start to come back. Reach your right leg high. Looking forward, step your right foot in between the hands, rise onto your fingertips. Gaze at your back foot as you drop the back heel down. Arms reach up, inhale, warrior one pose. Again, same thing with the arms. If you want to bring them a little wider to create space, go for it, but sink into that front leg and then really pressing down through your back heel to feel that squeeze and activation through the inner legs. So you're nice, strong and stable here. Reach the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, lifting the chest. Opening up, option to stay right here, or if you'd like to go further, start to tip over this front leg, maybe into humble warrior. As you come down, elbow hugging in towards that knee. Excuse me. And then 3 full breaths here in humble warrior. Be mindful of those shoulders. Okay, so if it doesn't feel exceptionally good, you don't have to take them as far. They can just rest on the lower back here. And then inhale, lifting all the way up. Extend your arms, open out, warrior one. And then plant the hands down. Yep. So your exit, anything you're adding on here, feel free. Otherwise, just step back. You may just like to stay in downward facing dog or flowing through your vinyasa. Maybe even a child's pose if you'd prefer. Opening out. And moving back downward facing dog. We're ready for that left side. Left leg rises. Inhale. Open it out. Scorpion dog. Stacking the hips. And then drawing this bent left knee towards the left elbow. So rise onto your right toes. Draw forward. Press down through the hands. Holding it in. And then inhale. Up and back. Open out again. Your option if you feel ready for your foot dog wild thing here. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Shift forward slightly, let the toes come down, press the hips and open out. Gazing down, let the top hand come over, bringing yourself back, extend the left leg high, stepping it all the way through. That heel comes down, warrior one, inhale. Reaching up, that's it. Adjust the feet as you need to as well. So if you feel really kind of you're facing towards the side of your mat, that left foot might want to walk out a little more. Arms reach up, open across the collarbones and extend through your fingers. Same shape with the legs, draw your hands behind you, maybe the opposite interlace of your fingers. Lifting the chest, energize the back leg, and then you can stay here or draw it into your humble warrior. As you come forward, modifying with your arms as you need. Your breath, keep pressing out through that back heel, feel squeezing in 2 more full breaths here. And then inhale, reaching up, same way you came in, press down through the feet, if you lift the arms, and hands come down, framing your foot, move through either vinyasa, maybe straight into your downward facing dog. And then take a moment once you do get back to down dog, either 3 full breaths here, or let your knees come down, and take 3 full breaths in an active child's pose. So active by keeping your arms long, your elbows off the floor, your head down, like you're kind of drawing in 2 different directions and lengthening. And if you are using your child's pose or your down dog, Using these breaths to come back to your breath, to find that connection and center line before we move into our last round of flow here. Maybe you take a nice in through the nose and exhale side out the mouth. Beautiful. And moving back, downward facing dog. Inhale for your right leg to rise. Exhale, stick the right foot in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips, let your back heel drop down, and then open out for warrior two pose. So setting up the feet where you feel comfortable, back toes turning in, roll the shoulders back and extend through your fingers. Turn your front palm, just let your left hand come down and reach that right arm straight up. And as you move into reverse warrior, think about this action lengthening this front side of your body as opposed to dropping into a back bend. So maybe I'm really keeping front ribs forward and then lengthening the side. Beautiful. Right elbow comes to right knee. Side angle pose or supported side angle. Top arm can come up. If you'd like to take it further, maybe your hand comes to the inside, maybe the outside edge of that foot, maybe even a full bind if you're practicing, or you can extend the arm alongside the ear. Beautiful. And then let this left hand come to your left hip. Take your right hand out. We're going to step halfway. A little step halfway to recenter. If you use a block for your half moon, bringing one in, about a 45-degree angle away from your right foot, and then lifting up, half moon pose. Pressing out through your back heel. Maybe you hover this right hand, but think about lengthening both sides of the body. Expanding into all 5 directions, taking one more breath. And then gazing down, start to bend your front knee, sinking back, step your left foot back, lift up again. You might land in this nice kind of wider stance, open into your reverse warrior, reverse triangle for a moment, so straight front leg. Beautiful. Then as you windmill the fingertips down, you're going to start to lift your back heel. Take the fingertips to the floor, adjust your back foot so you're in this more crescent lunge stance for a moment. Beautiful. Keep the left hand down and inhale, reach your right arm up. Right hand sweeps back down. Again, we're going to go forward, so you can walk your hands out to come into a supported warrior 3 first. So lifting up here. Engage, micro bend that right knee and maybe you lift up and float for your warrior 3 pose. Checking in with those hips, keep pressing out through your back heel. For 3, 2, and 1. Now micro bend your right knee, see if you can come all the way up to standing. And it'll help. Come to standing first. Lift this knee as high as you can. Maybe you reach the arms up, flex your left foot, and then extend the leg out. Then holding here, lift a little higher. Exhale, taking it through. Sweep back. Control by squeezing into the center line. Your option how you get up. Maybe your hands come down and take a few hops. Maybe you just step straight back, downward facing dog, or through your vinyasa. Any variation you'd like to work with. Maybe it's a handstand. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog or that left side. Beautiful. Inhale, left leg rise, reaching it up. Step your left foot in between the hands. That heel comes down, windmill open warrior 2 pose. Okay, adjust the feet as you need to. Roll your shoulders back, sinking down, evening out the distribution of weight. Turning your front palm, let your right hand drop down, and reverse the warrior. So again, try and feel try and think how you can find the lengthening from the front side of the body. Maybe just
Gently adjusting your hips, bringing your front ribs down, and then lengthening, so you're lifting as you sink a little deeper into that front knee to find that side body stretch. And then we're going to take it to our side ankle this time. Lift elbow to knee to start, supported variation. Stand up, feel your foundation, so you're drawing the energy up from the ground, and then maybe you take it deeper, or further, or into your bind. If you've got your bind release, bring your right hand to your right hip. Take that left hand out a little wider, maybe you step halfway. Option for your block, otherwise lifting up and come into your half moon. Any variation you're working with, pressing out to that back heel, hugging the thighs and lengthening to the fingers. And start to bend your front knee, sitting all the way back. Move wide stance, maybe a triangle stance, but lift up. Again, lengthening, so that length is coming from the side body. Reach top hand, ground through your feet. Then as you exhale, windmill the hands. So fingertips come to the floor, but lift on your back heel so you can readjust. Manage where your hips are here. Pressing out through your back heel. Right hand plants down, left arm reaches up, and find that twist. Beautiful. Top hand comes down. Gaze forward. Maybe you use your blocks. Maybe you support with the hands. Lifting up. Maybe you come straight into warrior three. From here. Pressing up through your back heel as much as you can. Squaring those hips. And then big inhale as you ground down through your left foot. Come all the way up. See if you can stay on that one foot. Squeezing in. Maybe you reach the arms, draw the knee in. Extend the leg out if you've got it. Holding for 3, lift a little higher. 2, and 1. Start to sweep that back. As we transition, come down, plant the hands. Maybe it's 3 a little hop to working with. Maybe straight to down dog. Anything you need, and this time we'll meet in a child's pose. So you can have knees together or arms out, whatever serves. Take a moment of breath in your child's pose. And then we're going to be transitioning over onto our backs. So from here you might just lift up and come over onto your back. You might prefer to come through a down dog and hop through. Or just cross your ankles like I'm going to. Beautiful. We're going to close out our practice with 2 back bends. If you would prefer supported variation, you can use your blocks. Maybe stack 2 on top like that if you've got blocks, or just 1, but make sure you have a nice, the largest surface area to lie on if you're taking the supported bridge. Otherwise, coming all the way down, walk your heels in, find your hands, just like we started our practice with this morning. Think about this articulation through the pelvis, so pressing the back down, and then finding that arch. And just take 3 to 5 like that before we initiate the back bending. And then really ground down through your feet. Feel a squeezing of the inner thighs without compromising the line between hips, knees, and ankles. So a hugging and an activation so the legs are working for you. Starting with bridge pose, press down through the feet, lifting your hips. As there's space, interlace your fingers and then wriggle the shoulders underneath, right? So you find a little more height, lift up, and then feel the squeezing back in. As your legs want to come out, hug them into the center line. And notice where your weight falls through your feet here. If you tend to lean to one side of your foot, even that up. Beautiful. One more. Inhale to the sky. And then exhale, slowly, easily coming back down. And as you rest your back into the floor, again, press your back down and maybe just take that little articulation through the pelvis. Looking forward and back. Open down the eyes, noticing how your back, your body is responding. And it's like asking your body, would you like it on the bridge? Or would you like to go into full wheel of Dhanurasana? Checking where it is, especially if it's colder, to seeing if that's a reality for you today. Otherwise, sitting up, either arms beside you, lifting into bridge. Maybe you take your supported now, or reach the arms up and over. And as you go for this, if you are coming up higher, really think about where your hands can be placed. So if your shoulders are feeling tighter, don't bring your hands all the way under. Take them out a little wider. Ground through your feet, lifting your hips up, and then using your legs to push as you extend your arms all the way and drop the head down. Okay, so wherever you are, taking about 3 to 5 breaths. And obviously always coming down as you need to, when you need to. And then once you're down from your second round, again just pressing the back into the floor, any little movement. You may like to bring your feet out as wide as the mat. Your arms can come beside you, and then just rocking your knees from side to side. So this really big kind of windscreen wiper action, gently releasing rather than forcing anything in. And then any final movements, if you'd like. Might be a deeper spinal twist, a happy baby, waterfall, anything you're working on, taking that now, adjusting yourself before our Shavasana. And as you're ready, coming up to your final relaxation, extending the legs long so they're as wide or maybe even wider than your mat. And the arms come away from the body, palms facing up, and the seats really taking up space, sinking into this expansive nature that you are. And you take a sigh out the mouth just to release any control of the breath. And with your natural and soft exhalation, it's tool to release the weight of the body into your mat, into the earth. Giving yourselves these last few minutes and moments to integrate, find quiet and stillness. Slowly then to bring awareness back to your breath. Gently bring little movements into the fingers and the toes. And slow stretching out through the arms, the legs. Moving your way to one side, taking your time. And just as you're ready, moving in a seated position to close our session together. Having a long spine. Maybe you close your eyes and drop your gaze. I like to bring your hands into heart center or rest them on the knees. Let's take the breath together in through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Thank you for joining me, sharing this practice. Have a wonderful day. And namaste.